valuables in here. I probably don't even have to introduce them because you can figure it all out for yourself. But this is Lyra. This is our little Basset hound. And then Kit, the one back here eating up the ball, that is our French bulldog. Hi, kiddos. This is a fun little pen here. Huh? A fun little pen? Yeah. I like my Basset hounds. Bassets are pretty amazing. So, let's see. Come here. You get up here. Come here. No, not my shoes. Come here, big boy. Ah, okay. Yeah, you come on over too, girlfriend. Here. All right, so, come here, graceful. Basset hounds, not very graceful by any stretch, but stinking cute as all get out. She is your typical tri-black. Bassets come in a couple different color patterns. Tri-black is very common. You've got like a lemon and white, a red and white. We had a red and white in here a little bit ago. Of course, we sold her real quickly. We get Bassets in sometimes. We don't get them in a lot. Huh, look at those ears. Definitely a trademark of your Basset hound is these ears. A lot of people worry about them dangling in the water, which they will. You know, if you're using a water bowl, one thing you can do is tie them back a little bit. Get a soft scrunchie. Stop, I know. Get a soft scrunchie for when they're eating and stuff. Some people worry about that. So you can always kind of hide. Gross. You can always tie their ears back if you need to. Like I said, just use a soft scrunchie or something if they're dangling in their food. If you have, with these guys, if you have a elevated food dish, just a little bit, food and water, that will actually help with that because their ears will hang off to the side. If this was your water bowl, yeah, that's your water bowl. If this was your water bowl and it was elevated a little bit instead of being down here, like if it was down, you can see how her ears would dangle. If you had it elevated a little bit, her ears would actually dangle to the outside. So it doesn't have to be elevated very much, just a little bit. That would be enough to get these things out of the way. So anyway, Basset hound, you're talking a 50-pounder, full-size Basset. These guys are, they have some meat to them. Obviously, they got a, the big foot, which is intended for running. These guys were originally bred for hunting dogs and things like that. So, these guys can navigate terrain very well. That is why they have such a heavy foot. Keep in mind your Basset does have an elongated back. So this is a little more prone to injury. You want to be very careful that your Basset isn't jumping around, which isn't too hard to do because they don't usually jump around too much. But they are active though. These guys are not lethargic dogs. They do like to run and play and things like that. You just you don't want them jumping off of off the couch or whatever. So anyway, watch the back and definitely don't get them fat. Okay, we don't want fat Basset hounds. Kind of like Dachshunds and some of your other elongated backs. Corgis would be another one that have these elongated backs. Keep them on the thinner side rather than the heavier side. So, great dog, great family dog, super cute to look at. These guys do shed. So if you have dog-specific allergies or something along those lines, of course your Basset hound is not going to work for that. Being in the hound dog family, Bassets also have a natural oil to their skin. That oil is actually intended to kind of protect them from the elements. If they're out, because these guys, winter doesn't bother them, even though they're short-coated. And these guys really are not double-coated dogs, but they have that oil in their skin. Hers isn't, you'll see it more in adults, but she's still a puppy, so she really doesn't have, and it's not like an oil like you can feel it. They just have an oil on their skin, and that's intended to keep the skin lubricated, but also kind of like waterproof. So it's not like if you're going to brush them, all of a sudden you're going to have oil all over your hands. Use that for hand cream or something. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that kind of oil. It's just a protective oil on their skin. But anyway, so these guys, great dogs, lots of fun. They do play. They're energetic. They do like to run around. They love to be outside. So, you know, this is not an apartment dog by any stretch. If you, you know, you need outside access for these guys. They love to be outside. They love to get their nose down on the ground and see what was in the yard, you know, squirrels and rabbits and whatever else. They're going to track all that. Nice dog, great family dog. They're good with people. They're good with, you know, children, things like that. Like I said, they're just a wonderful little puppy. Basset hounds. Hi, sweetie. I actually have some myself that are part of my breeding program. Mine are still are a little young yet. This is not one of mine puppies, that is. My guys are a little young. They're not quite ready to start breeding. But I do have several Bassets myself. I love them all. They're really fun. So if you're looking for something a little different, you know, if you've had hound dogs in the past, you know, maybe your grandpa had hound dogs and, you know, he was hunting with them or whatever, you know, go ahead and come on in and take a look at this little girl. She's cute as can be. So this is Kit, okay? Get you over here. This is Kit. Kit is a French bulldog. And there's Kit's face, so you can tell he's a French bulldog. Okay. He is a merle, and he is actually a lilac merle. He's not blue. Blue is a more gray look to it. He's got more of that. Lilac has got more of a purple look to it as opposed to blue. And then I'm partly colorblind anyway, so I can't tell. But no, just kidding. He is actually a lilac merle. So very pretty. Listen, why don't you go play with your toys? Where's your keys? Come here. Play with those. All right, so your French bulldog, again, this is a shedding dog. This is also a dog that is not going to be good if you have dog-specific allergies. They are really great dogs to be around. They're little clowns in a heavy body. These guys are a lot of fun. They are very silly in their antics and things like that. If you've never been around a Frenchie, you're missing out. Like I said, it's a nice little puppy. He's going to be about 30 pounds, which is normal for your Frenchies. He's sitting here, he's being so regal, just sitting here like, yeah, I own the place. But French bulldogs kind of speak for themselves. You know, they've got like I said, a funny personality. They're silly, they're goofy, things like that. Both of these two, a rubber curry brush, if you want to take dead hairs out, a rubber curry brush just kind of strokes the static out. Now these are both shedding dogs, and I always like to point out with shedding dogs, you want to feed a really good food too. So when I say a good food, I'm talking a good quality, good ingredients. We actually feed, and I prefer a grain-free formula. Make sure it's one of the good grain-frees. There's a couple grain-frees that were recalled a long time ago at this point. But the grain-frees, you want to make sure on your grain-free formulas, one of the issues that grain-free was giving people was the absence of taurine. Okay, taurine is naturally developed in the body when you digest grains. Okay, well when you take the grains out, that was causing a taurine, lack of taurine, and that was potentially causing some heart issues in some dogs. So many of the companies caught onto that very quickly and started supplementing taurine back in. So even though it's grain-free, the taurine is put back in, no longer have heart issues, which was something that when they first came out with the grain-free formulas. Now, dogs don't actually digest grain very well, which is why I prefer grain-free. Again, just my preference, just my opinion. Everybody, when it comes to dog food, everybody's got an opinion. And that's fine. I don't mean to insult anybody. I'm not trying to debate anybody. You know, you feed whatever you want. I'm just telling you, for me and what I feed and what these guys are currently on, is that type of diet. And my breeding dogs, my personal breeding dogs, are all fed grain-free diet as well. But anyway, a little bit about food there. I wasn't actually meaning to go that direction, but we did. So with your French Bulldog, what I was talking about, that's what got me on the food. What I was talking about is feeding these guys a good quality diet. So a good quality diet is going to have fish oils, omega-3s, omega-6s in it, things like that. What that does is it keeps the coat soft and it keeps the coat very shiny, like what this is. She's got a beautiful coat, actually. Those fish oils are fantastic. When these guys are fed a cheaper diet, this hair, even though it's a shedding dog, becomes very brittle. And corn is actually one of the components that actually does that. Ground yellow corn in your dog food will actually turn their hair to a duller color, as well as the hair will actually be more brittle. If that makes sense, it won't be as soft as this is, and that brittle hair breaks off. You know, it'll break off. So she will actually shed more on a cheaper diet because her hair is basically breaking off. On a good diet, she's still going to shed, but she will shed less, and it will be only because it's a natural shed and stuff, and that's going to apply to both of these guys. So there's a little bit about food. We don't talk about food very much on our lives, and that's probably a pretty good subject to talk about because they all need food. Again, those are just simply my opinions, folks. You know, you can talk to 1,000 people on dog food, and you will get 1,000 different answers. So, you know, if you're thinking about it, do some research, have a little bit of common sense, you know, play your Google searches and stuff, but weed through everything, you know. Some things work for people, some things don't. So, that is a little bit about these two. Before I step over though, let me tell you a little bit more about us, because I haven't done that yet. We are Your New Puppy. This is Friday Night Live at Your New Puppy, and this is our puppy showcase. So we talk about our pups, get them out, let you see them. These guys are not actually posted on the website quite just yet. They will be tomorrow. We do pictures and videos tomorrow. They have a post up, but it's just a blank post. It doesn't. There's no pictures there. So these will get posted sometime later in the day. It does take us quite a while to do pictures and videos of everybody, but it'll be up sometime later in the afternoon. And you know, there's lots of information on the website. Michael will give you the website address here in a minute when I'm done, while we're switching playpens. But use that website, guys. There's lots of information on there. It answers a lot of questions. You know, those of you, if you want this little Basset hound here, and you happen to be out of state and you want her delivered, we can do that. There's a page on delivery. We just sent a dog to Illinois a week or two ago, you know, which is a couple states over from us. We, of course, by the way, are in Cincinnati, Ohio. I didn't actually go over that, but we're located in Cincinnati. This is our store. And, you know, when you come here, we're going to do the same thing to you. We're going to sit you right down here, let you play with these guys. So that's a little bit about us and these two. We're going to step over. We have 2 more playpens to talk about, and we'll hit some other highlights.
All right, well, Mark's making his way over here to the next playpen to talk about these little fluff balls. A little bit more about us, like he was saying there. Our website is just going to be yournewpuppyllc.com. Again, yournewpuppyllc.com. If you guys do go on there, we do have additional information on the pups that we got coming in on our future litters page. We also do have a full list of all the pups that we have available. Now, these guys that we're featuring on the live, as Mark stated, we do not have pictures on the site right now. That's one of the reasons we do the lives, so you guys can see them beforehand, but we'll get them up tomorrow afternoon, any of the guys that don't get homes in between now and then. With that, Mark was talking a little bit about delivery also. We do have a ground delivery team, no airplanes or anything like that, where the pups are always accompanied and never alone. Transported where they can be brought straight to your door. We do have a process for that too. If you go on the website, it explains a little bit more information. Again, website is yournewpuppyllc.com. But Mark's doing a little bit of trimming on tear staining and whatnot too, which is one of the common things he does. With that, just to teach you guys kind of grooming and taking care of your pups, it can be just that simple in less than 5 minutes if you just know a thing or two about it. But I'll go ahead and pass it over to Mark so he can talk about these 3.
Yeah, what we have in here, this one, that is our Doodle, and that is Wilbur. Arlo is the one I had in my lap, and did you guys happen to see, did you see him on my lap or no? Did you have the camera up?
Yeah.
Okay. I was trimming his eyes, and I'll show you real quick again. But this is Arlo, he's our Havazu. And then the little silver one, that's our female, that is Starla, and she's a Poodle Bichon. So, tear stains with a dog, with a hair dog, is very common. And a lot of times I do it sitting on the floor, and it never works really well because it's just not a very comfortable way to sit. So I always set them up in my lap, you know, just like what I was doing here. When you dangle them, okay, it keeps them kind of from fighting and stuff and squirming. You can set them up on your lap. Kaboom, I do that too sometimes, kind of depends. But if you need to trim their face, blunt-ended scissors, so no point. That keeps from any injuries. These are specifically dog grooming scissors. This is a 4-inch blade. They do make it in a 6-inch blade and curved blades and all kinds of other stuff. Kind of whatever's your preference. Me personally, I like the little bit longer one, but I can certainly work with these too. So whatever fits your hand and works. So to trim around the face, you would do just, if you didn't catch it, I kind of pull the hair back so I can see what I'm doing. You can use the back of the scissors and comb it out a little bit, kind of fluffing it up. And what that does is lets me get closer to the face. Now I am keeping her head steady, okay? I'm not squeezing, I'm just simply holding it. I don't want her thrashing. So I'm really just securing. You can see how, actually it's he, you can see how well he's sitting there and doing quite well. Now to turn, I have to turn against the camera. Let's see if I can do that. So
We can still see you, Mark. You're good.
see? Okay, cool. I can't see the camera, guys, so I don't know how it comes across. So anyway, trim that up, and it trims up super easy. These are things, you can see his face all pretty, all gone, and that took me, you know, like no time at all. All these guys here, these are all, of course I gotta clean up my mess that I made. All these guys here are hair or part hair dogs. This one's a part hair. You got stuff in you from me kicking it down, huh? All right, so, hi, come here. All right, so Havazu, a Bichon, and a Sheepadoodle. This is a 2nd gen Sheepadoodle. Hi, sweetheart. I was trying to think what I can kind of group together. We'll talk about grooming needs because they're all kind of the same when it comes to that. The Sheepadoodle is a 2nd gen, or what we call F2, and his mom is a Sheepadoodle, and then he was bred, or she was bred back to a poodle. Hi, beautiful. Everybody's in my face today, huh? That's okay. So that makes him, mathematically, that will make him, this is a him, that will make him 75% poodle, which is why he's so fuzzy, and then 25% Old English sheepdog. That's mathematical. That's not necessarily genetic. Genetic could be a very different story, and we really don't have any way to, I mean, you do a DNA test if it even comes back that way, who knows. But anyway, so all of these guys, come here, all these guys, hair dog completely, hair dog completely, hair dog almost. So they are all gonna need to be groomed. They're all gonna need attendance at home, and you're gonna be using one of these. This is a hard comb. Any version of a hard comb, that's just where these needles don't move, to get down to the skin and get through this coat. Their coat, like especially his coat is actually, he's really fuzzy. You know, and it's got a lot to do with the sheepdog. But to get him and get combed down, and you can already feel it, and the girls already did him, you can already feel him, you know, being restrictive as far as combing through. But comb through these guys on a regular basis. Regular is going to be about every 2 days, at least, depending on how active they are and what they're doing. You know, they're out in the yard playing. It's springtime. Everybody's going to want to get outside. You know, if they're rolling around in the grass, you're going to have to comb them more often. But all of these are going to need the same as far as combing. All of these are going to need the same as far as grooming. These are going to need to go to the groomer, and that's going to be about every 6 to 8 weeks. Kind of just depends on how you want to keep them personally. Me, I like to keep my guys on the shorter side. My guys, I was actually looking at my guys at the house, and I'm like, okay, I need to clip you guys. I do my own grooming just because that's kind of along the lines of what I do, working with the dogs. But, for those of you that need to pay a groomer, keep that in mind, and you wanna budget that in, so that you've got this expenditure approximately every 2 months. So, now, as far as size, personality, things like that. So they're gonna be bigger here. This is a mini, and he's going to be in the 15 to 20 pound range. Our Havazu here, this is a sheepadoodle. This is a Havazu. He's kind of midpoint. He's going to be in about the 12 to 14 pound range. And this little peanut here keeps chewing on my shoes. This is our little Pushan. She is going to be, what are you doing? She is going to be in about the 10 to 12 pound range. So none of these guys are teacup or small stuff, like tiny. They all have some good meat on the bone. These are all going to be, this one. She is the smallest. If you look at her coat is really pretty. Her undercoat is lighter colored. So she will probably turn a little bit lighter as she ages. And then in the case of like him and him, these guys are pretty solid on their coats. I would not expect these guys to change color at all. She, just because this is this color pattern's a little unique, she could potentially lose some of that. So just so you know. Now, anyway, as far as working with these guys and training with these guys, they're all pretty smart. This one's got a lot of poodle, so he's kind of got the hands up on some of these guys. She's got some poodle. This one just got sweet. So, be very direct with your training. Don't be wishy-washy. Set your house rules, whatever they are. I was talking to a client earlier. She was thinking about getting a second dog, and her first dog is basically, in her own words, spoiled, which most of these house guys are anyway. But she was talking about integrating another dog into a home like that. And, we have an adult dog and a puppy, and I was telling her that the adult dog is going to automatically follow I had the backwards. The puppy is automatically going to follow the adult dog's schedule, pattern, behaviors, things like that. That is common for these guys. These guys will follow who's there. Training the second one's actually a lot easier than training the first one, because the adult dog does a lot of the training, because they will establish a bond, and during that, they're going to automatically follow the schedule, the routine, assuming that is what's all acceptable and approved. Now, keep in mind, if your dog at home has bad behaviors, excessive barking, things like that, your puppy is going to also pick that up. So you do want to make sure your adult dog is trained properly, and then your puppy will also be trained properly. So, these guys here, this one's going to love being outside the most. These other guys, she'll go outside, but she's probably going to be pretty content. We were talking about like the Basset Hound in the first playpen, and if you missed that playpen, you want to do a rewind. We do have a Basset Hound and a French Bulldog we talked about first, and you'll see those guys on the website tomorrow. But we'll repost this back to our channel and our page when we're done, and you can watch it again if you want to see the Basset Hound and the French Bulldog. But all of these are going to be really good with family. Like I said, this one especially, because it's a Doodle. Doodles tend to do really good. They're a lot of fun. You can see, he's got a lot of activities. He's kind of a feisty little guy, so it makes him a little fun. She's smaller. She's not tiny, but she's pulling on his tail. She's smaller, but she's not that small. So she will do okay. She can fit in, if you're in an apartment, she would probably be your best apartment dog. He can kind of adapt to just about anything. So we've got our Sheepadoodle, we've got our Havazu, and we have our little Pushan. 3 different little guys here. These guys are all available and waiting for their homes, and all just beautiful little guys. Of course, everybody here is fully vetted. We go through vet checks. We will provide you documentation. Everybody goes home with a folder, and in that folder is all kinds of papers and documents, and it tells you what kind of shots they've had, where these dogs come from. We do disclose the breeder's information, name and address. We will also provide you with their most recent USDA inspection report. to show you that they are compliant with federal and state guidelines. We do not deal with substandard puppy mill, fish types of facilities. No need to. Not saying they're, those kind of places are out there. Don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid. I've been in this business way too long. But that doesn't mean we have to deal with them. These are all our breeders they're top-notch stuff. I'm very proud to present their dogs. This particular one, this one happens to be mine. Anyway, these two are not mine, but this little boy is mine personal dog, or personal breeding out of my kennel. These two we bought in from other breeders. But anyway, either way, doesn't matter whether it's mine or theirs. We still run our full guarantee. And we do have a 2-year quality of life guarantee that goes with these guys, and stuff like that. But there's more online about it. You can always call the store if you have more questions and stuff like that. So that's a little bit about these three. We've got 2 more in the next play area to talk about, and we're going to head over there.
All right, and while Mark's making his way over here to talk about our last 3 little fluff balls here, a little bit more about us. Mark was referencing some guarantees and whatnot. All of our guys, just to give you a quick summary here, they are pre-microchipped. You do get 30 days of pet insurance with that also. We do have a 7-day viral and bacterial warranty and a 2-year quality of life guarantee. You guys can always check our website or call the store to get additional information. What is that website? So website is going to be yournewpuppyllc.com. If you guys go on our site, you can find a lot of useful information. Or as always, we recommend to you guys, we won't answer the phone during the live because we're technically closed to the public right now, so we can stream to you guys. But if you guys call us tomorrow, we're open 7 days a week. Tomorrow, we're 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We can also answer your guys' questions as well, too. Again, that information to get in contact with us is on our website, which is going to be yournewpuppyllc.com. But at that point, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Mark so he can talk a little bit more about these guys.
Yeah, I had to grab little Miss Shy right here. This is our little Cavapoo, okay? And she's kind of hiding in the corner. I don't know if you guys even caught her. Typical Cavalier mix on that very sweet, conservative side, as opposed to these 2 little rowdy boys here. So our little Cavapoo is our little Cavapoo, Cavalier Poodle. That is a little female, and that is Evie. And then Jude, this is Jude. Jude is a Yorkshire Terrier, registered Yorkshire Terrier. This is party colored. Party refers to multi. This is black and white. Does have a little bit of tan points coming on his face and his ears. But this is what we call a party Yorkie. We get some different color Yorkies in. They also make blue merle too. I've seen blue merle ones. We haven't had one yet, but we probably will sometime in the future because I think they're pretty cute. But the party Yorkies, anyway, this is a party Yorkie. And like I said, that is Jude. And then Marcel is playing with his keys. Come here. This is Marcel. Marcel is a Havapoo, that is Havanese and Poodle. So we're going to sit down here with these guys real quick, and we're going to talk about them. So, all right, come here, Pumpkin. They're a little sweetheart here. Tiny little thing. Come over here. You too. All right, so this is our little girl. These are little boys. This is our Cavapoo, Cavalier and Poodle. Okay, and she does have a little bit more play to her than this. She's obviously a little bit scared. But they just got here today to, give her a little bit of time and stuff, let her acclimate, and she'll be fine. Even at home, during our quarantine process, which I do back at my place, my kennel's got a quarantine area, and that's where these guys all go till they come here. Even during that time, she was quieter and stuff, but she's a Cavalier mix, and this is very typical for Cavalier mixes. A lot of times you get just that very calm, just that, happy tail, but she's not, right now she's not real happy. But you can just get that calm demeanor to them, and acclimating, I will point out very quickly, like these two, come here, babe. these two little boys, which are being very outgoing, very social, will acclimate quicker to your house than she's going to. She is calmer and stuff, and her period of time to get used to a new environment, to get used to new people, new houses, new smells. Maybe she's the only dog, you know, so she's got to get used to not having buddies to play with and stuff like that. That can actually wear on a dog pretty good, and she will be much slower. Normally we tell you 72 hours for dogs to adjust to a new environment. With this one's Jude, this our Yorkie, this our Havapoo. With these two, it's not going to take them 72 hours. It'll probably take them 24, maybe 48 if they're lucky. With her, she's easily going to take 72 hours. She might take a little bit more, so you want to watch her. You know, be very careful, you know, if you have kids, okay? These two would be very fine with kids. They would think that's great, let's run, let's play, and let's just have a great time. Her, she's going to be like, whoa, slow down. So a lot of times Cavaliers, I like to call them our empty nester dogs, because just they tend to want a quieter environment. And this is not all Cavaliers or Cavalier mixes. There are some that are pretty bouncy, you know, and stuff, but a lot of them are quieter. She's one of the quiet ones. So, you know, if you had children, for starters, if you wanted a dog that was going to be super engaging, you know, go outside, run, play, things like that, this isn't your cup of tea anyway. One of these would definitely be much better. If your kids are grown in college, they're off having their own kids and whatnot, or whatever your story is, and you just want a little quiet snuggle buddy, then right here you can see she hasn't even moved hardly. This is going to be what you want. So give them time, let them adjust. Dogs have their own personalities. You need to work within their parameters, you know, to make them adjust well. I'm not saying no to children with her at all. I'm just saying if you are very young children, very active, you're in an active home, you're here, you're there, you're going, we've got ball games, we've got this, we're in and out and whatever, this isn't going to fit, okay? Be realistic of your environment. This little boy would fit just fine, okay? So, Cavalier Poodle, this is a scale 2 on our allergy scale. She is not going to be real great if you have dog-specific allergies. Her shedding is mild. She will probably shed some because the Poodle will help to not shed as much, but the Cavalier works the other direction. With her coat, looking at her coat, which is pretty full, it's got a lot of wave to it. I would think she's probably not going to shed very much, which means you probably need to get her groomed a little bit. Your Yorkie, of course, that is a very low shed. Your Havanese Poodle or Havapoo, that is a very low shed. These guys really don't drop a lot of hairs. Keep in mind, I haven't pointed this out in a long time, and I kind of should. Puppy coat. Okay, this is their puppy coat right here. Very soft. This is what they were born with. They are going to lose this. Okay, so when you buy this dog thinking that it's going to shed very, very little or not shed at all, you have to account for the puppy coat coming off. It's kind of like a molt. That has to come off. The adult coat has to come in. So don't call me when this dog is 4 months old saying, hey, it's shedding, because I'm going to tell you, yeah, it is. But that's going to go away as soon as that adult coat comes in. So I wanted to point that out. I haven't pointed that out in a very long time. The puppy coat does come off, and the adult coat is the one that is very, very low shed. And like I said, this one definitely, and the Yorkie too. This is our little Yorkie. Yorkies running a straight coat, which they should be. Yorkies tend to grow on the slower side. Hi, what are you doing? He's like looking straight at me like, what are you doing, dude? Yorkies tend to grow on the slower side for the most part. I have 2 Yorkies myself in the house. One grows so slow I've hardly ever clipped her. I can trim her up and clean her up with just a pair of scissors, you know, about once every 6 months, and that's good enough to go. The other one, she actually grows quite a bit for a Yorkie, and I have to groom her quite a bit and keep her clean. So it could go either way with these guys, but normally speaking, general rule of thumb, Yorkie coat grows pretty slow. This little guy with a Havanese, this is a Havanese poodle, so his little coat is gonna grow at a normal rate. You're going to have to comb him out, her too. You're gonna have to comb these guys out about every couple days. Go to the groomers about every 6 to 8 weeks. Keep them looking nice and tidy. We'll see where he comes in at as far as how often. It's kind of up to your discretion as far as how often you want to do that. Now, I talked about the personality. Size, I don't remember if I even mentioned size, but you're about 8 to 10 on him. That's normal Yorkie stuff. This one, kind of about the same weight. It's going to be about 10 pounds, 10, maybe 12. She is actually tagged by her parents' weight. She's actually tagged heavier than that. And I think we have her on the website at 10 to 12. I can already tell you right now she's not going to be that. She's definitely got a smaller frame to her, very small. She's got a very thin kind of frame to her. It's okay, Rick. And she's definitely, I would be surprised, whoever gets this little one, if you come back a year later and say, hey, she actually reached 12 pounds. She could, I don't know. But basing it right now with her current age and stuff like that, I really don't think she's gonna go 10 pounds maybe, but I don't think she's gonna get up much more than that. So, that's a little bit about these guys. There's more information on our website, about everything about us. Please, like and follow, leave comments, lots of comments, we like comments. And, if you have some questions, get a hold of us, because we will be more than happy to answer those. We love to talk about our puppies and tell you just a little bit more about them. And again, this is our little Cavalier Poodle. This is our Porty Yorkie, pure Yorkshire Terrier. He is registered. This is our little Havalier Poodle. So Havanese Poodle, Cavalier Poodle. So two poo mixes. So I am going to grab our little quiet one. The boy's chewing on my shoes. Here, chew on this instead. And I'm going to get up and head out of here.
All right. Well, Mark's coming over here to go ahead and talk about next week and go ahead and close us out here. A little bit more about us. Again, this is Friday Night Live at Your New Puppy. We do this to educate you about the pups so you guys can make an informed decision. This is a 10-plus year commitment type of thing. Whether you're talking about the little quiet bean that he's holding or the little bit more outgoing beans that were in the pen there, one of the ways that we do that is just talking with you guys. Mark talked a lot about giving the store a call if you guys got questions. That's what we're here for. We talk to you kind of about what your lifestyle looks like, and then we recommend some pups that fit that lifestyle. Not all the pups do, but there are quite a few choices sometimes. Just depends on your lifestyle. Just listening to this, though, to wrap us up here, let's go ahead and pass it over to Mark so he can talk about next week's pups and close us out.
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, like Michael said, give us a call, go on the website, whatever. We provide you with lots of information. All you got to do is reach out to us one way or another. So as far as next week, what we'll be bringing in, we do have a mini Australian Shepherd, pure Aussie. Mini Aussie is a male. It's a red tri. We have a Yorkie, another Yorkie. This will be a little female. She's a chocolate and tan. We've been running some chocolates. We've got one breeder that does quite a few chocolates. I like to get them in because they're pretty sharp. They're a little bit different. We have a Shih Tzu, kind of reddish brown, more red and white. She's real pretty. She's very quiet. She's kind of like this one. She's very chill, very relaxed. We'll see if she perks up in a week before we bring her down. She might, because Shih Tzus are usually end up being a little playful, but she might be one of those couch buddies. We'll see. We do have a pug female. She's not quiet. Typical pug, bouncy, goofy, silly. It's a fun little female. We have an Aussie Doodle. That is a miniature version of that. She is a red merle, and some Woodles coming in. We have two Woodles coming in, male, female, normal size, kind of mid-size dogs. So anyway, that's what we'll have for next week to chat about. So I am Mark, and on behalf of all of us here at Your New Puppy, we want to wish you a fantastic week.